What's up, y'all? It's your girl M.Falconer here, and welcome back to my studio. So I just finished this painting here, Know Yourself. It is the last piece in my new Love Yourself collection. And if y'all haven't seen me create that collection, definitely check out those videos of me creating the whole collection. But now that this painting is done, I want to make some prints. So I've already made prints of the first two pieces in the collection. So I just had this idea. I thought like I'll bring y'all along on this journey of making prints with me. And I've done that before on my channel a lot. Like I always show you guys how I make my prints, but I had this idea of what if I could show y'all what it will look like to make prints on a high quality camera, which is actually the camera I'm using right now to vlog with, versus making prints on your phone. So I have an iPhone 12 Pro, and a lot of people have iPhones, and iPhones are known to have good cameras. A lot of smartphones in general have really good cameras. Like before I had an iPhone, I had a Google Pixel 2, and it had a really good camera as well. So I know a lot of people don't have like an expensive DSLR camera to work with to make prints from. And I feel like you can just make as amazing quality prints using a phone. So today I'm gonna use both my phone and this camera. I'll show you all the camera later, but yeah, using both. And I'm gonna compare the quality of both prints so you guys can see it's definitely gonna be possible to make good, decent prints using just a phone, so y'all could get started at any point that you are at. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, y'all, so this is my studio setup for taking the picture. I've got the painting right here on the wall, obviously. I've got two studio lights at 45-degree angles so that they're not like directly in front. It kind of gives off softer light. So I got two studio lights, and then I've got this ring light here in the back, and that's just to add extra brightness, you know what I mean? This ring light is actually really bright, so I just like have it with extra light because the more light the better, y'all. Literally get as much light as you possibly can. And I also have some windows open right now here, but it's a really gloomy, rainy day. The sun is not out at all. Usually if the sun is out, a lot of sunlight will come through and I won't even need as much light. But today, because it's gloomy, we need more light. So this is the setup with the camera. Got it on a tripod. Tripod is very important. You need that stability to get a clear shot. And I've turned the camera vertically because I want more of the image actually in the frame, because then I get more pixels of the actual artwork in the picture. In terms of the actual camera settings, so what I've done, so the settings I'm using, I've got the shutter speed at 1/6, which is like 1/6 of a second, I believe. And that's enough to get the shutter to open enough to bring enough brightness. Then I've got the f-stop at 5.6, which is a pretty wide aperture, but it's not all the way open. I've got the ISO set at 160 because we do have a lot of light, and 160 is decent to avoid like any graininess in the picture. So obviously every camera is going to be different, but I found that these settings work really well for, you know, what I'm trying to do. Okay, so now I'm about to take the picture with the camera, and The camera that I'm using is a Sony a6400 camera, and I'm using the kit lens, which is the lens that comes with the camera. So it's not the best lens in the world, but it's pretty decent. I also use this camera to film all of my vlogs on this channel. So it's a really versatile camera, which is why I bought it. I'll put more info about the camera in the description below. And another thing I got for this camera is this remote right here. So I'm gonna use this remote to take the picture instead of pressing the shutter button on the camera, because that avoids any shakiness that could come from me like pressing the button. And camera shakiness could cause like blur in your actual photo, so we want to avoid all of that. That's also why we're using a tripod. So I think I covered everything about the camera, so let's go ahead and take the picture with the camera, and then we'll take the picture with the iPhone. Okay, y'all, so now I've got the setup for the iPhone. So I went and got a specific tripod for phones, like a phone tripod. You can also use like an adapter piece that you could put on a regular tripod, but I wanted an extra tripod anyway, so anyways, yeah. Got a phone tripod, and I also recommend taking the picture with a tripod if you're using your phone. That's definitely gonna help a lot. So got the iPhone set up, got everything in the frame here. You know, the lighting is the same, everything is the same. I've got as much of the painting in the frame of the photo as possible. And I'm not gonna really mess with the photo settings. Like, there's not really a lot of settings to mess with. I'm just using the camera app that is on the phone. Like, I'm not using any other camera apps. I just want to make it as basic as possible so that you guys can use whatever basic settings that you have on your phone too. So this is just gonna be super easy. The camera in the phone is doing all of the work. Also, the tripod that I got for the phone also came with a remote. So I'm going to be using the remote to take the picture as well. Again, to avoid any shakiness. If you don't have a remote, you can also just set a timer on the phone when you take the picture, and that will avoid any shakiness as well. All right, so let's just take this picture. Boom, easy as that. Okay, y'all, so I'm upstairs in my production studio, and I brought the painting up here so I could edit the photos and make sure the colors match the actual painting. So I've got the images up on my computer. This one is the Sony camera, and this one is the iPhone picture, you guys. So first impression, I haven't edited them yet at all. These are just raw off both cameras, and my first impression is that the Sony camera colors more closely match the original painting. If you could see, the yellows more match, the oranges more match in real life, versus the iPhone colors are a lot brighter than in real life. So I'm gonna have to edit the iPhone colors a lot more than I have to edit the Sony colors. But surprisingly, like when I zoom in here, the quality of the iPhone pictures is a lot sharper than the Sony pictures. Like, I was actually pretty surprised by this. The iPhone picked up more details in the canvas than the Sony camera did. The Sony camera is a bit softer, and I'm not sure if it's because of like the settings that I did. I'm not a professional photographer, you guys, so I don't know really the best way to finesse a camera, but I was actually shocked at how clear these iPhone pictures are. So I guess you really do get what you pay for when you buy an iPhone. So obviously I can increase the sharpness and stuff in post. By the way, I'm using Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, to edit these pictures. So that's my first impression of the raw images. But before I get started with the editing, I'd love for you guys to check out my Instagram page. If you love these videos, definitely follow me over on Instagram. I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you don't see on YouTube, so just give a go a follow at M.Falconer. So yeah, let's get into this editing. So I have formatted the colors, like edited the colors on both versions so that they match closer to the actual original painting. So the colors are more or less the same at this point. This is the Sony, this is the iPhone, and the main difference I'm noticing after editing is that when you zoom in, like the iPhone, the sharpness is looking a little bit weird. Like some of these areas are extra like highlighted versus the Sony camera looks more natural, I guess you could say. And then the iPhone looks like it's almost artificially sharpened and the colors are made to look brighter. It's not a super big deal. That's just one thing I noticed. We'll see how it comes out on print though. So now let's format these images for print. Alright y'all, so it's the next day and I ended up printing a few different versions and a few different samples. The prints on the bottom here, these are all the iPhone pictures, and then the ones on the top are all the camera pictures. So this was the first version I did, and basically I did the same process to both the iPhone version and the camera version to make it equally fair of like color correcting each version. I wanted to get a closer match to the original painting, obviously, so I had to do some like tweaks here and there. So I did the same tweaks for each. I changed the same colors and stuff like that based on what it needed, and this is the final version that I came up with. Okay, so first off, let's compare both. This is the iPhone, this is the camera. And honestly, you guys, like I am pretty shocked.
Shocked and slightly embarrassed
at how good this is. Obviously, I went in and I edited the colors, but the quality is very close. Like the iPhone quality is very good. Like if we zoom in here, it's very clear. You know, the camera picked up all the details, all the paint strokes. Just like over here on the Sony camera, it's the same deal. It's clear, it's in focus. The camera picked up all the details as well. So in terms of camera quality overall, iPhone really does compare to this Sony camera. I can't even lie. Like I would not mind selling a print from my iPhone camera because it's actually quality. The only thing I noticed and from editing on the computer is that the iPhone picked up more reflection in the light on some of the dark parts of the painting, but On the print itself, you can barely notice that. Like you can see it a tiny bit here. See these like white spots in the black? That's actually the reflection of the paint from the light that is looking like these white spots. And it's more noticeable on the computer, but the iPhone did show up these reflections way more than the camera did. The camera did not pick up those light reflections. But the thing is, like, the average person is not gonna notice that or even care. So that is literally the slightly only thing about this print quality that's different with the iPhone. Another thing I did notice too is that while I was editing the pictures on my computer, the camera pictures, the colors in the camera more accurately matched the colors of the painting in real life. So the colors out of the camera was more accurate versus the iPhone colors were a little bit more saturated, more bold, and I had to edit them more to get them to look like the real life painting. So in terms of post-production, you'll probably have to do a bit more work with iPhone to get the colors where you want them to be, versus the actual camera was way better at capturing real life accuracy of the colors. So that's the only thing, but that's not a big deal if you use a photo editor like Lightroom and Photoshop, which is what I use. So honestly, overall, I think I still prefer the camera quality. I just think I don't know. I feel like it comes out more real life compared to the painting, and I had to edit it less. That's the only thing, but iPhone is very close. Like if camera quality is 10, like iPhone is 9 realistically. If all you have to work with is an iPhone, I would say you could do very well with that and not have to upgrade to a DSLR camera unless you're getting a very, very high quality one to really up the quality level. Bro, iPhone is actually good, which I am low-key surprised by. So yeah. And let me just show you guys a quick comparison to the actual painting. The yellows on camera are picking up darker on this paper, but in real life, it looks more similar yellow. Like this yellow looks dark on the camera. But yeah, this is iPhone version versus the painting. And then this is the camera version compared to the painting. They're both not super exact. Getting an exact color match is kind of hard, but I feel like this was the best I could do, and it still looks really good. So yeah, I hope this video helped you out if you were thinking about making prints with your phone. Overall, I recommend it, and I think the print will actually turn out nice. Obviously, it also depends on like your printer, the paper you're using, the inks you're using, and stuff like that. But the actual photo quality is definitely good enough for prints. So yeah, if you're looking for a more in-depth video on how to go about making prints, definitely check out this video on my channel where I go through a more in-depth walkthrough of all the steps of like editing the photo, taking the photo, and all that stuff. This video was more just like an overview to compare. But yeah, definitely check that out, and thank you so much for watching. Definitely subscribe to check out more art videos from me, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.